Hey you! Yes, you. Welcome to the You're Not Getting Any Younger podcast. A podcast for people who want to disrupt their lives. For a good reason. To make it count. I'm your host, Jen Glantz. And every week, I'll drop a new episode with stories from real people, just like you, who woke up one morning and decided to make big changes, starting with small things. We'll cover topics like entrepreneurship, love, failure, and self-care. Hey, you're not getting any younger, so let's make this an adventure. Ready? This week's episode is brought to you by Odd Jobs Newsletter, a newsletter where you can find out about careers that just don't fit inside cubicles. Whether you're looking for a full-time gig, a side hustle, or remote work, you can find it all inside of the Odd Jobs Newsletter. Head to www.youareodd.com. That's www.youareodd.com and check it out today. It's free, so why not give it a read? Hey, any youngers, it's me, your host, Jen Glantz, back with another episode of the You're Not Getting Any Younger podcast. I recently just got back from Boston. I've never been to Boston before, which is crazy because I've been to a lot of cities. I spent 2 years of my life living in new cities all of the time, but I never actually went to Boston. I found myself in Boston a couple of weeks ago because I was hired to work a wedding as a professional bridesmaid through my company, Bridesmaid for Hire. And when I was there, I fell absolutely in love with the city, which is fascinating because a few people in my life told me before I went to Boston that I wouldn't like it. One person predicted that I would be so bored. Another said that I should only go for a day for the wedding because after that, I'm not going to want to be there anymore. And somebody said that Boston is so not Jen Glantz, with the confidence of somebody who actually knows me when very few people have a PhD in that subject. But the crazy part was I loved the city. I wanted to stay longer. I thought it was so charming. The waterfront was so relaxing. The wavering streets and how it's so tough to navigate them were exciting to me. And some of the people I met there had such a toughness to them that just made me so soft. It was such a different type of toughness than like a New York tough vibe, but which made me think, it turns out, just like people, books, and restaurants, we could love more places than we can ever consume in just one lifetime. The truth is, I want to live 1,000 lives, but I can't, and neither can you. Knowing that, perhaps, can change how we live today. I am so excited that you pressed play on this episode. Thank you so much for being here. If you haven't already, subscribe to the podcast. It's so easy. Look at your phone or your computer or your Apple Watch right now and click the subscribe button. All that means is that new episodes once a week will automatically download to your playlist. It just makes life easier for you. And the other thing I want to ask is, can you leave the show a review on Apple Podcasts? Why am I pushing that so hard is because my goal is to get to 200 reviews of the show. Right now, we're at 169. I like even numbers, so if someone could bump us up to an even number, that would be incredible. I'll read the latest review of the show to you. It comes from Blair Bear. Keep the podcast going. I've been loving this show so far. Jen has an honest, friendly vibe with good info. I like her tips and motivating content that is packed into shorter podcasts. Thank you, Blair Bear. That means so much to me, and thank you for listening to the show. Again, my friends, I am trying to get to episode 200, which is going to happen by the end of this year, but I'm also trying to get to 200 reviews of the podcast. If you could help a girl out, I'd appreciate that, and I promise to read all of the newest reviews on these episodes to give you a personalized shout out. So thank you in advance. Today's topic is based on a conversation that I had with two people a couple of weeks ago who are sort of strangers, but I always love to ask people I meet, especially if they're with another partner, how they met the person they're in love with. And these two people I asked, they said they met through a mutual friend. Their love story was as easy as a love story could be. A mutual friend thought that they would be perfect together, so they set them up, and these two were dazzled by each other. They've been together for 4 years. And after hearing this love story, I couldn't help but wonder what happened to that mutual friend, the one who was the matchmaker who set them up. And both of them replied to me that neither of them are still friends with her. They said that it wasn't a friendship meant to last very long, but it did serve its purpose. I became obsessed with that phrase, serve its purpose. It made me think about all of the people who slow dance through our lives and how when we meet somebody new, we think of them as permanent. And I am so guilty of this. I will meet a new friend and I will think, I can't wait to grow old with this person. But the truth is, the friendship might not even last past 6 weeks. But that's the kind of person I am. We often think about people we meet being a phone call away for the rest of our lives, or somebody we will always bump into at least once a week at the dog park. And that's because we think of people as main characters in our lives when really the honest truth is everyone we meet is just guest starring in our sitcom. You know everything ends. I don't need to tell you that. But I ask that you remember this. When you fall in love or when you become excited by a new person you just met, when you have a conversation with someone and you think, I have found my new best friend, please just remember that it won't always be that way forever. Because some people in your life, they're just going to disappear. They're going to be gone and you're never going to hear from them again, and let that go. That's okay. Some will linger for a while and then crawl out the exit door in a very elongated, awkward, painful way. Let them go too. Some will stick around like they are carrying this hot glue gun, reattaching themselves to the constant twirls of your life. Hold on to those people. We all have people who, as our lives move and change and develop and grow and get all weird and messy, some of those people are still right there. They're still right there. You hold on to those people. Because the truth is, there's some people who were never meant to be in your life for more than a few seconds, months, or years. Understand that. Those people, my friends, they served their purpose. I remember this on gloomy days when I'm scrolling through my phone for someone to call and see a very big address book of people I no longer know. I no longer can call. I no longer could reach out to and say hello because you just can't anymore with those people. And it makes me realize one big thing to be true. I feel so grateful for the moments I had with those people who no longer are people I would call to say hello. And I just hope that they would feel the same way about me. Ask yourself this: what purpose do you serve in other people's lives, and who has a purpose in your life? Everybody needs somebody. We need each other. And it's also okay to realize and recognize that some people have served their purpose in your life. And now it's time to move on. Until next time, all my love, Jen Glantz. Hey you! Thank you for listening to the You're Not Getting Any Younger podcast. There are hundreds of thousands of pods out there, so thank you for listening to this one. You can find the show notes for this week's episode up on our website, anyyounger.com. Subscribe, rate, and review the You're Not Getting Any Younger podcast on iTunes so that other ears around the world can listen too. Oh, and join our secret You're Not Getting Any Younger Facebook group, where over 1,000 people are talking about how to disrupt their lives, for a good reason, to make it count. Until next week, all my love, Jen Glantz.